Welcome again to the On Point Woman with Dr. Ronnee. I'm Dr. Ronnee Adesanya, and I have with me again today the Ajibades. It's really been a pleasure and a delight to have met both of them, and they've been sharing their life's testimony. Where I'm going to start from today, I want to ask Lanre. So, have you been back home because you came on a visit and became a husband? How is that working out? So, in our part 3 today, we're going to look at what are the key things that has helped them this far, both of them. So with that being said, welcome to the studio. How are you both doing today?
Well,
doing great. Thank you. Happy to be here again.
Well, I can't wait to hear where we stopped the last time. You both were talking about your various experiences, how your husband had adjusted, he's just started the job and all that. And by the way, if your kids show up on the screen, it's just okay. They're the proof of your blessed union. So I need you to understand that. So if any of them shows up, let them come and be a part of it. You know, especially with this pandemic, one of the things I've come to appreciate is God was making us understand we should quit this our perfect world. You know, I've done interviews before, actual interview for a job, that I ended up speaking to the spouse of my interviewer because the spouse was from a country I had worked before, and I ended up talking to them. Did that help me get the job? Not really, but I've had that experience. I've had dogs participate in meetings. I've had cats. I've had kids. So they're part of our new world. Yes. So if your sons show up, they're welcome to show up. You know, a couple of weeks ago was my husband's, in church, we had appreciation day for my husband. And when our 3 boys showed up to say hello to their dad, it was a virtual event. None was dressed in any formal way. They were just dressed the way they wanted to look. And I told the people, I said, we're a normal family, so you can see. They don't have to be all dressed up in tie and suit. They came on in their hoodies or whatever they wore for that day, and they came to say hi to their dad. And people said they really enjoyed the fact that they were being themselves. So if your sons show up, please let them be themselves. They're the reasons that they are the proof of the success of this marriage. Have to say that, welcome to the show. Let's get started. Who wants to go first today?
I guess I will.
That's good. So tell us what really has been the key things that has helped you thus far. Because, you know, one of the things that as somebody that's schooled in the US, you have your group of American friends. Here you have a man that showed up from Nigeria and boom, you're married. How did you navigate the peer pressure, the peer influence that was there? Because I'm sure some of you were saying like, what's going on with this girl? How did you navigate that? Let's start from there today.
Right. Thank you. That's a great question. Actually, yes, you're right. There was a lot of pressure. And I remember that started the day we got married. I hadn't told anyone.
Getting married.
We're the only people that knew because of the circumstances around it. Many people would think you're crazy, right? And how many people can you explain your spiritual journey to that? I'm walking with the Lord has given me peace. This is a very unconventional story. And when I share it with caution, and I let people, I'm like, I'm not sharing it to be duplicated. I'm sharing it as a testimony of what God did for us. So you have to walk your own journey. Yeah, it was really, and I was going to a church where I was very active in the career professionals, sort of post-college ministry. I was very involved, very regular. I went there every Friday evening. So I had, you know, people there, and it was an American church, and there were definitely, you could tell people, some people may have made comments directly, but I'm sure there was a lot of probably talking and snickering behind. And then my family convinced me to put it on Facebook when I hadn't even told anyone. They were like, put it on Facebook that you're married. I just hadn't opened this account for too long, and they convinced me to put it on Facebook. So this thing went live all over all over the world.
It went viral.
And it was a shocker, right? Because it's not, people didn't even know I was dating anyone because I kept.
How much more you're married? Is that, I'm like, sure they ask, the first question they'll ask you is she pregnant? Did anybody ask you that?
No, some people thought that was why.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was
because that's the mentality people have. They can't believe this, that God had to be in it. Oh, it has to be something smoky. There must be some smoke there somewhere. I'm sure she was pregnant. That's why she got married. So how
Yeah.
did you navigate? Keep going. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was very, I mean, I wouldn't lie that it wasn't painful to see people that you think we've been praying together,
We're
like
happy for
just
you.
ask me. Because I would have shared that testimony willingly without any hesitation. And I really did get pregnant like immediately too. We had my son. We got married January 13th. I had my son November 4th. Uh,
Wow.
so literally, I got pregnant right away. So, but then, I would have gladly shared my testimony. So it's a lesson for all of us, right? Because you would think even I walked through it many times, I would draw conclusions without knowing. And all you have to do is sometimes ask, or,
Exactly.
ask, like, there are ways to ask, especially in a church setting or Christian. Hey, share your testimony. Even if you're just being nosy, there are ways to ask. Hey, share your testimony. Especially if you're single, like, oh wow, I'm trusting the Lord to share your testimony rather than drawing conclusions and saying hurtful things. But I think we move past all of that because we know who we were and what the Lord had done for us.
So did he go to church with you immediately?
I think so. We went back to Houston. We got married in Delaware, and he went back.
Okay,
And
you got it.
I wasn't ashamed at all. I was proud of what God had done. I just maybe would have the people who I guess are close enough, I shared my testimony with, but I didn't tell too many people. But I'm trying to go back to where we started from. We had to navigate a lot, but like I said, that revelation that prayer is key helped us a lot. And also understanding each other, the 5 love languages. We went to marriage counseling at my church then, like I guess post-marriage, we did that. But understanding each other's love language, I think was really important. And it's still a work in progress, to be honest, because with him, he likes to buy things for me. And I'm always watching the budget. So those are some of the adjustments, right? He likes to buy things from me. And sometimes I'm thinking, can we afford that? And he's just a giver. Not that I'm not a giver. He loves to buy things for people generally and also for me. And sometimes I would just, I guess I'm sorry to say, I would even give them away. I'm thinking, maybe this person needs this thing more. And he would be so hurt. And I always wonder, I'm like, what's wrong with him? Even last night, he went out and brought home like a lot of food, like special food. And he came home with like 3 boxes of food. And he's like, I got this. And my first question was, how much did I made a comment. He's like, you want to ask me how much it cost, right? So I held it back because I know he can afford it. God has brought us so far, so we're definitely not lacking, but it's just understanding that aspect of him. He'll go out and he'll buy a watch or some clothing, and I'm wondering, I'm like, I think I'm fine. I don't need that. But you know what's so funny? Many times, maybe a couple months later, or even a year, I'll thank him for those clothes because I put them on for just the right occasion. I'm like, oh, thanks to my husband, and he laughs because he knows my reaction towards his spending.
And I'm glad you said that. I'll share a little testimony. When we got married, my husband is a giver as well. He loves to, growing through the years, my husband is a type that he will take me to the store and I would just buy. And there was a time I actually had a stylist at one of the major department stores and we'll make an appointment with girl. He would just pick the clothing. For me, I want to check the price tag. I want to know if it's on sale, if I'm getting a bargain. But I learned very early in our marriage, we were still in the Caribbean, then we're in Trinidad. And once we went to Venezuela. And so we went into this store. My husband found this dress. He wanted me to buy it. I tried it on. I didn't like it. And he was offended. And I was like, why? And the Lord spoke to me that no, he was expressing his love, but you rejected that love. So from that point, when after that, the Lord told me, next time you accept it and trust me that you will love it. So I had to come to a point whereby it didn't matter was my husband chooses it. I take it, even if I didn't like it, I will pray and say, God, help me like it. And eventually it turned around. And so it was a lot easier. So if I go shopping and I go with my husband and he picks what he wants for me, I accept them because I'm dressing for myself, but also to showcase my husband. So I learned from that experience. So I'm glad that you are walking your way through that as well. And to those of you out there listening, that's a very important message for all of us. If you can't say you love somebody and you are not accepting their love, we don't define what love we accept from our spouses. We grow into each other and learn each other as we go so that we can benefit from that relationship. Thank you for sharing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's it in a nutshell. And it's still a work in progress. I'm not going to say I'm completely there, but.
You only done 10 years. I've done 33, so you know.
Yeah,
And I learn every day still. I'm still learning my husband. After 33 years, I'm still learning him. There's some new things I'm learning about him because as we get older, we all change.
Yeah.
You understand? People need to understand that in a marriage, you keep growing every day. As you get older, your needs change, your perceptions change, your mindset changes, and those things impact how we relate to one another. Like, one of the things I started thinking about a couple of days ago, I'll give you this joke and I'm going to let you continue. Is like my husband a few days ago, he said to me, I don't like your vegetable stew anymore. You don't make it right. And I remember that when we were doing physiology in med school, that one of the things they taught us was our change birds change with age. And that said, that's why some people, because when you're younger, your taste buds are just developing. So it's very sensitive. The husbands will complain that your food is not good like my mom's, because and that came back to me, as he said it, that, oh, I remember that I learned that in physiology in med school. So what I just did was this weekend, I called the lady that cooks for us. She cooked for us before for the appreciation day and he enjoyed that vegetable. So he probably realized mine is not tasting good. And what I called the woman this week, I said, can you make some vegetable for me? And as I was going through my day today, I processed this in my mind and I said to myself, I've been his wife for 33 years. If I have to get somebody else to cook what he likes, it doesn't change his love for me. It just means I'm learning to adapt to make sure that I'm giving him the best, despite all, So go ahead. So just wanted to drop that there so you know.
That story is very pertinent because it kind of draws out when we first got married too, and I just returned back to Houston and I cooked fried rice. And I got that comment too. I still tease him and I tease him about it till today. Probably for the next 50 years, I'll still be doing it. And he said, your fried rice is not like my mom's.
Oh, really?
His mom was also.
You understand the secret behind that statement. It's true. Yeah. It's the change in taste buds over the years.
I still tease him till today. I'm like, when I cook certain things, I'm like, is it as good as your mom's? And he usually feels embarrassed, but it's all good. And I've had his mom's food. She's a good cook too. But those are just the things, and just to wrap up so he can also share a little bit. Just understand. I think that's maybe one of the most glaring ones. Just understanding that he loves to give gifts and he feels really crushed. I see the pain in his eyes when he feels like even my disposition, even if I don't want it, he's looking for an expression, body language.
Says it all.
Yeah. So when he doesn't see it, instantly he gets upset and he's like,
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Mom is gonna come and make your food in a jiffy. Is that Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Okay, Emmanuel.
Okay, almost done.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's probably one of the biggest examples, just adjusting to him. And but the English, I found, I feel like the Lord spoke to me. One strength I've had since I was little, I really just feel like I was called to writing. I have a blog. I have a Christian faith blog. I'm really gifted to write. That's something that comes naturally to me. So anytime, when I told him yesterday, I reminded him, I said, we're talking to Dr. Ronnee tomorrow. And he said, yeah, I'm going to share on the I'm going to share on the call that Oman Kora mommy, which means, you're cranky. Because, he wants me to read the text. And he said, can you please read this text and make sure there are no grammatical errors? Can you please? And he went for his MBA as well. I was like the core MBA student that didn't get an MBA because to help him late night, sitting next to him. And of course, sometimes I have to confess, I'll have a sour attitude about it. But I know many times the Lord will caution me and say, this is a strength and something that comes naturally to you. And sometimes the ones we love are the ones that we maybe are the most unfair towards. Because if a friend asks me, can you please read this chapter or this paragraph for me?
Do it
I'll
for
do it
them.
badly, or a coworker. But when it's him, there's always he's always asking.
Let me tell you something about that. It's found in Genesis chapter 2, where the Bible says, let us make for man a suitable helper. You see, when you look at that word, suitable, it has to do with somebody that fits into your deficiencies. So when you look at it, where the husband is weak is the woman's strength. And where the wife is weak is the husband's strength. So if you look at my hands together, you see the fitting to each other.
Yes.
That's really what let us make for man a suitable helper. A suitable helper is somebody that is right for you. So I always tell people that count yourself highly privileged when your spouse depends on you for something. That is God helping you understand that you are valuable in this union and you need to keep it together. A lot of people don't realize that. You're correct. Like, oh, I'm helping you. Look, every time I have to go for an interview, for example, I say to my husband and say, let's discuss this. Here are the things I want to talk about. We work on it together because we're a team.
Yes.
You understand? He will ask me questions. If I give my answers like, no, that's not how you want to do it. You don't want to say it this way. And for me, that's a blessing because I remember clearly I said, God, I want to marry a medical doctor. I want to marry somebody that when I come home, I want to talk about my day. He understands me. I'm not talking above his head or somebody that can't grasp what I'm talking about. And that's what God gave me. And, years ago when we were doing the internship, when we were in Trinidad, my husband did pediatrics, I did OBGYN, but my husband will come and help me when I'm on call, when I'm backed up. He will see patients for me because, so I'm like, I was able to only get that because of what I prayed for. But Lanre, let's hear your side of the story. How have you navigated knowing that it's not every time you brought home a gift that she wants it? How has that been for you coming out of Nigeria to live in this American world? And Houston is a huge place.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So, coming from Nigeria and also being an entrepreneur, it was very difficult for me. I've built that business so well that he has a brand in Lagos, Victoria Island.
Can you talk about what's the name of your business? Because I'm sure some of people listening here will be able to remember you and they say, oh, this is where he left for.
Okay. Yeah, Super Meals, Super Meals. The name, the registered name is Resourceful Skills. So Resourceful Skills birthed Super Meals. So I got Super Meals when I went for a program at Lagos Business School. What we were serving breakfast for companies. As breakfast, English breakfast.
Emmanuel and company, you can join us if
English
you want to
breakfast.
come.
Yeah. Yeah, we were serving English breakfast, tea, coffee, cappuccino, and
Wow.
also serving companies trainees as well. So with over 30 employees,
Oh my goodness. You're going to have to do this here in the US. Ade, I'm going to make this a challenge for you to keep him on track. You need to launch that here. You got to do that here. But I'm listening to you. Sorry, I asked you to talk about that because I'm really excited to really know what a resourceful family you both are.
Thank you.
Wow. And
So
the meat pie, by the way, I would like to know more about the meat pie, pandemic meat pie along the way.
yeah. So so when I got here, my plan was to stay in the US for 2 weeks.
2 weeks done 10 years. Hallelujah.
I wanted to like go back to my business and then could be back and forth. And she said, oh, don't go yet. Let's see if we can change your flight to another 2 weeks. I said, okay, we changed the flight. We made the payment. And when it was about another 2 weeks, she said, don't go yet. I was like, and my people were calling me, my employees,
Everybody.
presence is very important. And dealing with, customers complain, even if they love you, they like you, but at the same time, they just want to see you, you know.
That's right.
It was phone calls. I was spending a lot in,
Phone call, I can imagine.
to, call Nigeria, call business that this is going on. I got an email, this and that. So afterwards, so it was a very unexpected, you know, um, transition,
Yes.
very unexpected transition. And I was like, what will I be doing here? So
House husband.
I just like look up
I
and
can imagine.
look through the window, walk around, like, So as God would have it, I found a friend that we went to the same primary school,
Wow.
and we had gone to update or do car registration. So we met and Ade. So he would come over, help me out, kind of get me engaged. This is US. What do you plan to do? I have a business. I have to go back. Well, you have a wife. So I have a business. So, you know, so so from there, things were changing. Then I found a very, very good Nigerian man. Now my uncle, like a very big dad. And we went because I used to go to Kibera and Seraphim Church in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I found one and found my wife anyway. So I dragged her, and there was this anniversary. I love to clean church, just clean, just doing my normal, be my normal person. So as I was cleaning, the man just walked up to me and said, "The Lord said I should talk to you." And I said, "Okay." I How long have you been here? I said, I just I'm new in the US. And he said, uh, "Where's your wife?" My wife I think she was doing something, helping as well. I said, I pointed at her. I said, "Well, God said I should help you." I said, "Okay." So he gave me his card and said, "See me next day." So I went to his office, and he told me a story how he got the Nigerian man, how he arrived to US, what he has gone through, how he has been able to build his business. And he said, I told him my story too. And he said, "Well, it looks like we have something in common." And he said, "Today, I'm going to count it for you as your first day starting a job." I was like, "Okay." And we didn't even negotiate because well, I didn't even know how much minimum.
People pay.
No. So it wasn't that I was looking for a job. My brain was my business. So, and it treated me like his son.
Thank God.
Gave me everything I needed. It was paying me more than minimum wage, way more than, you know. He would give me his car because we had one car, and it would just sometimes just I'm traveling, and he give me his Mercedes Benz, and that's the same Mercedes Benz that I will be looking at people in Nigeria that these people are rich. Even I remember my chairman at my hotel like, this Mercedes Benz, just I'm driving here and there like this. Hey, wow, stuff like that. So that was the subtle um, feeling that okay, I had to let things go a little, little by little. Then and my wife, she doesn't like me saying this, fantastic woman, you know. And I have to say this, I couldn't have gotten anything better.
Praise
Very
God.
humble, very supportive, you know.
Emmanuel, I'm coming for you now. I'm coming for you now. Go ahead, go ahead. I just had to do that.
So my wife very supportive and irrespective of all our accomplishment, very humble. And those are the things that like kind of humble me more, you know. And I remember the first time she took me to the bank and added my name. I remember the second time she added me and said, "Okay, let's get you a credit," as a
Wow.
device user. I remember the time when um, we were pregnant. We were pregnant.
You're pregnant. Mhm.
Yeah,
I know that.
she left office, came home. Said, I just wanted you to get engaged, and she took me to somewhere. I remember we were walking in the sun to volunteer.
Wow.
So it's been very great. Um, and here we are. Yeah,
Praise God.
yeah.
I'm really amazed. I thank God for both of you. I know one thing that's evident is God's provision through it all. That testimony about the man that God used to help you. You see, when you are committed to God, God is committed to you. I remember the other day, my husband was sharing with us in church that God is too committed to us to let us go. He's invested too much in us that he can't give up on us now. And that's exactly what you guys were experiencing against all odds. Because a lot of people come here thinking it's going to be, oh, smooth ride. But no, you got to put in your time, trusting God to help guide you. You held on to God and God came through for you. That's who we are as believers. We have to trust God. Look, you left a thriving business in Nigeria to come here and you humbled yourself and you allowed God to help you. And for those of you out there that maybe you're looking for Mr. Eligible or Miss Eligible like they were, if you look at their background, she's a PhD holder, he was a businessman. But you see, when they came together, they became more powerful because their union empowered them to do greater things. I have admired them from the time I met them because I looked at the simplicity of their ways. And I'm saying this to you all out there that your marriage can work. And for those of you that are single, we're coming to you the next time we're speaking because I just want them to speak to single people out there and then they will pray. I want to thank both of you for this opportunity to have been on the program and we'll see you next time. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.